and welcome to coverage of the Something and Something annual Oak Bay Tea Party Parade, a parade that has nothing to do with Boston tea or American patriots, but instead Canada.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. And with the parade about to start, you can see they've already blocked off the roads like a responsible parade organizer should. Really looking forward to seeing what they got for us today. Back to you.
Did you know, Kathleen, that there are regulations for this parade? Each car must be decorated to actually take part in the parade, which means no matter how fancy your vehicle is, on its own as a daily driver, you cannot enter this parade without some form of decoration.
Oh my goodness, that means your flower power mobile cannot participate unless you were to put some extraneous flowers on it?
Well, every day is a parade for me. Unfortunately, no, I could not take part in this actual official parade.
Coming up next, we have nothing.
Empty pavement.
This is the ghost float.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. And you know, one of the things I love about a parade route is just the sheer anarchy of it. It's just chaos, is that people are just walking around wherever they want. Nobody gives a crap if there's cars coming or not. It's like, it's mindless bedlam here in the middle of the streets. We own these streets and we should take them back. Back to you.
While we wait for the parade to continue, I just want to say a few words about our sponsors. I would like to thank the Oak Bay Pharmacy that inexplicably agreed to let us stand on their roof to film this parade.
That's right, Kathleen. This is a sturdy roof that is not going to fall out from under me.
Don't show them this YouTube video. Let's get back to Beej down in the place we are allowed to film.
Yeah, thank you, Ian and Kathleen. I'm here at the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade downstairs, having a look around. It's a beautiful parade today. Everyone's having a great time. The music's really bopping, and the children are really happy, and the drinks are fantastic.
Kathleen, did you know that there are regulations as to how you distribute candy to children now?
My goodness, you can't just huck Jolly Ranchers at toddlers willy-nilly?
No, certainly not. The problem is, projectile candy could injure a child. You're supposed to hold your hand out and indicate a desire for candy and teach proper manners here beyond the tweed curtain.
Yes. That sounds like a much wiser method of distribution. Also, then the fussy parents can say, no, it's not an organic quinoa puff. Don't give it to little Stella Gazer or something.
It looks like the parade is beginning in earnest. Marching bands are available and the music has started. It is a beautiful day for a parade.
Yes, this is the Oak Bay Secondary Marching Band.
What happened to the primary marching band?
Somebody is soliciting kisses from the crowd. That's unusual. And looks like everyone's lined up trying to get some candy from the wagons of tiny bits of green and white. I'm going to see if I can get some candy here, actually, now that I think about it. Thank you. Not a bad start to the parade. Watermelon saltwater taffy, I have to assume. Let's try this. I was right. And it's delicious. Back to you.
As we can see below, the Oak Bay Mayor fragrantly disregarding candy flinging regulations, as in fact is hucking several things that look like they are hard and not organic.
That's right, Kathleen. Turns out when you are the mayor, you are literally above the law in a parade, but only within a parade situation.
Yeah.
And he is giving what the people want, which is speedy candy delivery.
Yeah, and possibly some contact bruising. All right, looks like the marching band is taking its sweet time to go by us, meaning we get to hear some sweet tunes.
That's correct. I have yet to identify this particular song, but I believe I could listen to it for at least another 3 minutes.
I have good news for you. That's about how fast they're moving.
Fantastic. Drum solos for everyone.
I mean, it's a pretty darn good drum solo. Let's throw it down to Beej, who's getting funky on the street.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. It's great down here. Really enjoying the music selections from the Oak Bay High School Marching Band. And the cheer group is getting everybody excited as well.
I know I'm hooked on a feeling, and that feeling is appreciation for this fine music.
A wholesome throwback to days past. Speaking of a wholesome throwback to days past, I hear the dulcet tones of a bagpipe being played as well as it's possible to play one of those.
Drones and chanters. Those are what I like to hear when I'm about to see marching people.
I'll let you have it. It's fine. You gotta let kids have the candy when they go for it. So, yeah, more watermelon candies, more chocolate mints. That's actually a pretty good assortment overall. I'm impressed with what the Bays Football Club's doing. Back to you.
Did you know one of the reasons that the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade is held so early in the year is to display the white legs of the pipers prominently before they're tanned in the summer sun?
That's right, because Oak Bay's official colors are green and white. But this is a family event, so we can't smoke any weed, so you have to lean more heavily on the white.
Kathleen, I have a question for you.
Yes, Ian.
How much of an airplane do you think could fit in a parade?
I would say probably, hopefully, none of it, because that would be extremely dangerous. Not to mention, an airplane seems incompatible with the low speed of a parade.
You would think so. Generally, you require a high speed and wings to avoid stalling. But if you take, say, the wings of a plane off, the engine of a plane off, and most of the fuselage, you can bring a cockpit of a plane to a parade.
Oh, this plainy husk is being dragged through the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade by the BC Aviation Museum as a warning to other planes as what might happen to them if they are too naughty in the air.
That's right, Kathleen. This plane belongs in a museum, and that's just where it's going.
Pretty cool idea for a float, actually. And this year, as I learned, they're trying to go balloonless for all the floats because apparently balloons have just been too big of a hit on the surrounding environment, just generating a lot of trash.
Thank you for that, Beej. Coming up behind us now, we have the Reynolds Marching Band, the mortal enemies of the Oak Bay Secondary Marching Band. As you can see, they've been spaced out to prevent a blood feud from breaking out between the various drummers and or woodwind instrument players.
That's right, Kathleen. Like the sages of the Offspring said, you've got to keep them separated.
I love a good marching band. I'm glad they have so many this year. And it's hard not to smile when you have a bunch of people just walking around playing music. I'm not going to get back into playing music again, though, I don't think. Back to you.
Well, that was a delightful and bloodshed-free performance from the Reynolds High School Marching Band. Coming up behind us, we have another school group. This is the Willows Elementary School.
That's right, Kathleen. They're bucking the trend of instruments, and they're riding their way through this parade. Boy, I'm not sure if they have the regulation amount of decorations on their vehicles, but we'll let them have this one.
They are, after all, only small children, and they get a pass when it comes to screwing things up the way an adult would not.
Absolutely adorable in their mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, it's time for us once again to check in with Beej down on the street.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. It's Beej again here on the ground. We just saw the marching band proceed past, and now we're seeing Recreation Oak Bay, which I'm assuming is some sort of virtual experience that you can have where you can put on a VR helmet and feel what it's actually like to be at Oak Bay, which is pretty cool. They're kind of going for more of a nautical motif with everyone wearing life jackets and seem to be showing off their swimming and that kind of thing. I think this might be Recreation Oak Bay, and I might have screwed this up. Back to you.
Yes, Ian, it's time for me to be like Ralph and say I'm going to wreck it. Oak Bay wreck it, that is. This bus is from Oak Bay Recreation. They run the swimming pool and various lawn bowling grounds for the elderly.
Thank you so much. Wow. Freezies. I can't believe it. That's what a thing to offer. What a great thing. What a great candy on today. A+. Good job, Recreation Oak Bay. Back to you.
But coming up behind it now is the Ross Bay Preschool. It's toddlers and strollers. How delightful. No one throw any candy at this group of children, please. We've already discussed Jolly Ranchers and contact bruising.
That's right. This is a candy-in situation only, but still blissfully quiet, A, in comparison to toddlers in their normal environment, and B, compared to the band coming up behind them.
The Spectrum Marching Band, the dark horse in this year's blood sport royale between various marching bands in the Oak Bay Tea Parade, has opted to play the traditional hit Louie Louie, perhaps to lull their opponents into a false sense of security as they attempt to decipher the lyrics, allowing them to go with a quick elbow bayonet jab.
Did you know, Kathleen, that I knew someone in university who wrote a master's thesis on the lyrics to Louie Louie?
Please tell me more about this, Ian.
There's a lot of variations to these lyrics, but the important thing that you gotta know is that it always ends with, I think I gotta go now. And I think I gotta go now down to the street.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. I can't place the song, but I know the lyrics. Everybody. Clap, clap, clap. Everybody. Back to you.
Ian, if I may drop the specter of lightly making fun of this gentle community institution, this marching band's real good. They slap.
I'm gonna let you have that one, Kathleen, because I'm not gonna let go my love of the Spectrum Marching Band and their rendition of the Jackson 5's ABC.
But maybe let's not play any Jackson 5 music next year.
Good plan.
Did you know that I sent Penelope for a whole year to Victoria Gymnastics because I wanted her to have a hobby?
Really? How did that go?
She did not like it.
I'm gonna have to chalk that up to that not being her style.
But you know what is in style? Children doing impressive flips on concrete.
It's a little frightening because, I definitely want to have gloves if I'm doing that. Brings me back to my days when I was a young gymnast. Back to you.
Whoa, those were some actually very impressive flips.
That is some spectacular tumbling there on the concrete. I can only imagine what sort of work they've been going through all year to be able to do those flips not on the soft mats of a gym, but here on the streets of Oak Bay.
Coming up behind us, we have Glen Lyon Norfolk School, which is a private school for rich children, which, as you can tell, because they have their own bus. As you can see, just passing us behind is the mascot of Glen Lyon Norfolk School.
That's right, Kathleen. No one happens to know what his name is, though.
Well, I'm assuming it's something like G.N. Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's Griffin Nuts.
Griffin Knackleroy, perhaps.
Oh, Griffin Knackleroy, the mascot of Glen Lyon Norfolk School, as you can see, sweltering here on this beautiful June day.
That's right. And if you do actually get to guess the name of the Griffin correctly, you become him.
Yes, you must become him. It is the curse.
Let's go send that down to Beej on the streets and see if he can become the new mascot. Go ahead, Beej.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. The watchword here today seems to be just get comfortable with yourself. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Beej. That was uninformative and unhelpful. As you can see behind us, more young children are parading by because children are cute, so why not put them in a parade? No one's not going to cheer for children. That would be super rude. But behind us, we have Oak Bay Volunteer Services, which is where you go if you have too much time on your hands, like many of the elderly people who live in Oak Bay.
That's right, Kathleen. If you have too much time on your hands, that means you probably don't have children. If you've got children, you're bringing them to the parade, but they're not volunteering because they're not old enough to have agency yet. But speaking of people who don't have a choice in matters, let's go back to Beej on the street.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. There's been a bit of a problem here at Oak Bay and Monterey because it turns out that the train has left its tracks and it's busy making its way down the middle of the avenue. No one's that frightened, though. Everyone seems pretty excited to see them. It's the Shrine Clown. They have a heck of a unit going on here with the with a train and a caboose. I'm really impressed.
Oh, Kathleen, you know what that sound means.
Oh, it's time for a train-car abomination hybrid. Neither train nor car, mere monster, this vehicle of darkness is cursed to travel all parade routes in Canada. And now it is Oak Bay's turn to take its dark mantle upon themselves.
That's right, Kathleen. Without tracks to tell it where to go, it goes where it wants.
And provides splitting nerve and ear damage to all those around it.
But in exchange, beautiful, sweet, sweet candy.
That's right. But that won't be thrown at toddlers because we've been over this several times. Speaking of having to review things several times, let's throw it back down to Beej Deary on the street.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. I'm busy checking out my next ride for Road Quest 2, whenever that may be. Shouldn't be too bad to get ourselves a 59 Corvette, I don't think. What do you think?
Passing us now, we see Angle Invokers, which sell real estate to rich people, like the people who live in Oak Bay, which is very nice and by the ocean.
There's a lot of places for sale here, Kathleen, and I would love to look at them.
Yes, but we're not allowed in because we're too poor. They can tell.
Special report from the road, Kathleen. I'm hearing from Beej that they are giving away beach balls and frisbees from some of these vehicles.
Yes, well, the rich get richer here.
It's strange to me that you still need to hand out things that are, in fact, designed to be thrown and caught.
Wow. That actually kind of blows my mind, and I don't have a quip to respond to you with. So let's just go back to Beej on the street.
Sometimes it's too real.
There are a few candy bucket tossers walking around still. And we see behind them, it is a group with such small writing on their shirts that I have to look it up on my phone.
Thank you, Beej. As you can see passing us now, we have yet another pastime of the rich, the Oak Bay Yacht Racing Club. Do you have a yacht, Ian?
I do not, but they have two tiny yachts behind them there that look like they're in the price range that I myself, on a reporter's salary, could afford.
This is either Oak Bay Fitness or Thrifty Foods. I'm going to say Oak Bay Fitness because here comes the Thrifty Foods van right now. I hope they're handing out raw chicken. I don't know why that was the first thing I thought of. Back to you.
Kathleen, here comes one of my favorite parts of the Oak Bay Parade. It's the Playful pencil. He's a pencil who likes to play. He's really not good at his job, which is to write on paper, but
if you make an appointment, you can come to his dungeon.
that's true.
Anyhow, speaking of dungeons.
What kind of dungeon does Beej have?
An open air one because he's reporting on the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade. Back to Beej before we explore this line of thought any further.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. And to answer your question, I've never seen so much localized nudity. Back to you.
Thank you, Beej. Coming up behind us, we have the Oak Bay Marine Group, whose slogan is, "No boat, no problem." I don't have a boat.
I don't have a problem.
Well, then there we go. We don't need your interference, Oak Bay Marine Group. You stay out of here. But apparently, I guess if we need a boat, we can just talk to the Oak Bay Marine people.
Someone should put them in touch with each other.
Well, speaking of getting in touch, let's go down and touch Beej.
No, I don't imagine we're going to see that today, but, hold out hope because there's still a lot of people left in the parade. Back to you.
Thank you, Beej. Speaking of things you can put inside your mouth, we have Thrifty Foods behind us. Thrifty Foods, the wonderful and popular and very expensive local food chain that I really can't afford to shop at most of the time, but they're here representing and as one of the few groups who aren't throwing anything. I said Thrifties wasn't throwing things, but I wasn't really looking, and they are, in fact, hucking the one thing I called out specifically as something you shouldn't huck at toddlers, which is Jolly Ranchers, because they're big and hard.
Correct, Kathleen. Thrifties appears to have what appears to be full-on shopping carts full of Jolly Ranchers, and they are just spreading it like shrapnel. It is going everywhere. Indiscriminate Jolly Ranchering of this corner.
You heard it here first, folks. Thrifty Foods, agent provocateurs, sowers of chaos, flingers of Jolly Ranchers. Please shop there for all your holiday needs.
It's a sweet street. And speaking of sweets on the street, let's send it back to our sweet, sweet boy, Brendan Deary.
Oh, denied. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. Would you like one? Thank you. Deluxe jujubes. They're going all out today. That is a lot of jujube. They're very good, but more than I would usually eat in a single mouthful. But they're very tasty. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Beej. Hey, Kathleen, there's some people here in kilts, but there's no bagpipes. What's going on?
Well, this is yet another corporate float. This is a house cleaning service called Men in Kilts. They come to all the parades to advertise, and they let them because they also dance around and listen to Irish jigs. It's Great Big C all the way down.
Yeah, it's just a mishmash of cultures, which is Oak Bay to a T. A tea party, that is.
Back to you, Beej.
There you go. You're welcome. I don't need to eat candy all day. I still got the jujube working. I got to get rid of that. Back to you.
Okay, hold on. There's a dog. There's a dog in that sidecar.
Dog in a sidecar.
Dog in sidecar.
Dog in a sidecar. Check it out.
Mascot all the way from California. His eyes are going to wait for us. We are the minute Kilts putting smiles into the world, one kilt at a time.
I imagine it's probably a lot cheaper to make a kilt for a dog.
Kathleen, have you ever looked up a dog's kilt?
No, I have not. I can't say I have.
Two things I'm wondering is, how do you get a dog to wear a kilt, or at least find one in their size? And two, does it also clean windows? Or does it just only clean like the lower 6 inches with its tongue? Just back to you.
Coming up behind him is one of my favorite parts of the Oak Bay Tea Party. It's an Austin Mini. Let's be honest, I just want to talk about how much I love my car. And oh my God, it has eyes and it's shooting silly string.
That's just a normal car that they've put like eyeballs on.
It's gone from sweet to frightening.
But this means if they just have a normal car, you could bring your car to the parade next year. You have an Austin Mini.
And it is, in fact, decorated with stickers.
There you go. How about next year we enter you as a parade float and we do our reporting from inside the parade. We could be little germs hidden away inside the long human centipede of floats and marching bands. I don't know where this metaphor is going.
A surprising chewy center to this long and wonderful parade day. And speaking of chewy centers, let's talk to Beej down in the center, the thick of it all, on the street.
Thanks, Ian and Kathleen. The parade is wrapping up here at Oak Bay in Monterey, and I can think of no more fitting caboose than the loyal Nanaimo Bathtub Society. And this is a great parade today. It's the kind of parade I like. It's short, it's to the point, everyone had a great time, and I got lots of free food. Back to you.
Well, as you can see here, the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade has ended as abruptly and frighteningly as it began. There is nothing left, and confused citizens now are milling about in the street, wondering if they will be shouted at by any more marching bands.
That's right. With the passing of the last Oak Bay community vehicle, we know that the Oak Bay Tea Party Parade will be missed, but it will be back again next year, much like Santa Claus, as long as good children stay good and believe.
And don't fling Jolly Ranchers at one another, even though there's a lot down there, and they're just for the taking.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again next year.